Welcome back to another episode of Making Space with Angela Dragon. I am delighted today to bring you Virginia Grant, who founded a local nonprofit called Assurance, which supports caregivers. So welcome, Virginia.
Well, thank you, Angela, and thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day and your busy life to share some time with me.
Of course.
So I would love for you to just start by sharing a little bit more about your business and how you started it and why you started it.
Yeah, that's a loaded question, but let's hop right in, right?
Yeah. Get right to it.
So Assurance is a nonprofit that provides emotional support to family caregivers. We also help to connect them to local resources or resources that can help their journey. But our main focus is helping them to provide good self-care and to understand the importance of that so that they avoid burnout, isolation, fatigue, all those things that typically come with being a caregiver. I started this organization because in 2021, my sister, who at the time was only 45 years old, suffered an anoxic brain injury. This injury left her total care, which means that she needed us to do everything for her. She had a feeding tube, so she had to be fed. She had a trach. She wasn't on oxygen, but everything was done for her. When she suffered the injury, she spent about 6 weeks on life support before she woke up.
Wow.
And when she woke up, then as a family, we had to decide, now what do we do? And we just could not let her go into a nursing home. So we brought her home. So my caregiving journey started overnight, realistically, right? And through that process, I learned a lot. And I also began to meet other caregivers, and their journeys were hard. Mm-hmm. My journey was hard. But through my journey, I learned to accept her in her new state. I missed her terribly. I would go in her room, Angela, and spend hours in there, getting her ready for the day, getting her dressed, feeding her, giving her her medication. And I would literally leave her room and go into my room and just cry because I missed her so much, right? So it was hard. It was a lot of hard work. But after she transitioned, after I took care of her almost 5 years before she transitioned, wow. When she transitioned, though, I looked back and I realized that through me learning to accept her the way that she was then, and then also through my support system, I had a good journey. Mm-hmm. And I was at peace and I was happy. And I wasn't trying to recover from being a caregiver. Like I was just moving into the next phase of my life. And so with that, I decided that we would start Assurance, so that we can provide that support to other family caregivers so that they can learn to, one, take care of yourself, but then two, also be able to create memories even during that time. Because oftentimes, sometimes people recover, you need a caregiver, but your health may get better, you may recover, but oftentimes you may transition, that person may transition. And we want you to have memories. That time where you're being so noble, you're modifying your life to take care of someone else's life. We want you to still have fun. We still want you to have laughter. We still want you to create memories. And a lot of caregivers don't get to experience that, but we want to create this community so that we can. Yeah.
Ooh, that was the whole word right there. I just want to acknowledge the bigness of and the depth of that kind of experience in your life.
Yeah. It's huge.
It's huge because it's completely life-altering for you and your family to suddenly pull all your resources of like, okay, how do we support this person?
How do we do this?
Yeah. And I know it can be, like you said, isolating because that's what we see. So, my business is Simplify Home Organizing here in Gainesville, Florida, and we support families in their homes and oftentimes seniors and the adult children of seniors. And so we're sometimes the only people that actually see the reality of what's happening in a home.
Behind the scenes, right?
It's like they'll have people, kids and other adult children in other cities that don't know or they just hear what the parent tells them. Right. It's like, oh no, I'm doing okay. I did have a fall and I broke my hip, but I'm okay. And then we get to their house and we're like, oh dear, like this person needs way more support. And so we end up helping to do that, helping to coordinate. And that's partly why I wanted to interview you today to hear more about how can we support people. And so one of the things that I noticed too in people's homes, we almost entirely work with women.
Okay.
Regardless of who's making money, regardless of whatever the women
It's the
are
woman.
almost always in charge of the house,
Uh-huh.
managing the home
Yes.
and managing when things get cluttered and
Uh-huh.
disorganized. It's the woman that calls.
Yeah.
Always, almost always, 99% of the time. So I see the same pattern. It's like I have a lot more I could say about this. I'm going to try to keep it concise. Our cultural conditioning as women is to give, even if we are empty and depleted ourselves. And so one of the things that I reinforce and that my team reinforces with our clients all the time, please take care of yourself first.
You have to.
You literally have to, because I think I saw on your website, I was reading your whole website last night, which is lovely. And I saw on your website that it was like, if I fall apart, then everything falls apart.
Everything is lost.
Right. So it's like self-care has to happen for ourselves. And it should, to me, it should be because we love ourselves.
Absolutely.
And we want to care for ourselves. And the practical side is that if I'm a caregiver, I fall apart and then everything else is going to unravel too.
Who else is going to
Who's depending on us, right? As mothers, grandmothers, caregivers, business owners, etc. So we have to put ourselves first.
Yeah, that's so true. And what you do is so vital also, because when I brought my sister home, I realized how huge of an undertaking it was going to be. Not initially. Initially, I just said, okay. But then as the medical supplies started coming in, the medical equipment started coming in, I'm like, hold on. If I don't get organized, I'm going to be in big trouble. So I literally went in her room. I had a space for everything. I had labels on everything. And that's not really how I live. But I understood that if I was in her room, I needed to know where everything was at, because I needed to simplify,
Yes.
right? I had to simplify that process as much as I possibly could. So when nurses ended up coming to my house to provide home care, like they was like, what is going on in here? Because they hadn't seen a home.
Yeah.
Like
because
that
most
before.
houses are not like that, but they could be. And I would say they should be, because that makes it easier for everybody.
Yes, it truly made it easier for me, because when I reached for something, it was where I needed it to be. So even if I went in a room and she might be in a crisis or something, I knew exactly where to go to get what I needed. And then even like I say, when I did begin to have home health assistants, they did too, right? So we always knew where everything was that we needed.
Right, everything has labels, everything goes back where it is to make things just a little bit easier. It's still going to be hard.
Right.
But just, we don't need to make things harder.
Right?
It's already exhausting to be a caregiver. We make it as easy and simple as possible. So I feel compelled to share a quick story. I want to come back to what we were talking about, but I want to share a quick personal story just so you can understand more about why I felt so drawn to you and what you've created in the world. So I had basically a health crisis a couple years ago. I talked about it just a little bit on the internet, but you probably haven't seen anything about it. Long story short, I got really sick, just kind of out of the blue after a very stressful period. There was a house fire, a breakup after a long relationship, like all within like a week. And it was just like everything fell apart. And so I didn't have anywhere to live for several weeks in a row. And it was just, and I was still trying to run a business, like staying on friends' couches and stuff. And then I got really sick. And then weeks later, after being sick for several weeks and doing all these different tests, and doctors are like, we don't know what's going on. I just kept losing weight. I had no energy, like literally I couldn't stand to do dishes for more than 10 minutes at a time. I was like, this is not like me.
Right.
I'm a functional health coach too. That's part of my training and my background in coaching is functional health. So I put lots of time and energy and money and effort into maintaining my health. So I'm like, what is happening? So doctors ended up doing a CT scan and found a really large tumor in the back of my abdomen. I was like, what? Like I was like angry like, how could this happen? I take such good care of, so still nobody really knows what exactly caused it. Doctors don't know everything.
No.
That was I had to really advocate for myself in the whole process of what is my intuition? What is God, universe, source telling me? Like, how do I navigate this challenge? But as part of that, and ended up not being cancer, thankfully. They thought it was cancer until they took it out. So I technically had a cancer diagnosis, but I was always like, y'all don't know. You don't know that. They couldn't biopsy
and you wasn't accepting that.
I was not accepting that. I was like, no, sir, that's not. I don't believe I have cancer. And I just sensed that it wasn't true. But I was like, I'm open to that possibility. And I read about it, whatever. Anyway, a year and a half later, I finally let them do a major surgery and take it out. And so during that time, I couldn't care for myself. After surgery, I had major open abdominal surgery. And it was, Virginia, the first time in my life that I had to rely, the first time in my adult life, that I had to rely on other people. And it was deeply humbling to be in that situation, especially me, Miss Independent, entrepreneur woman, been taking care of myself since I was a teenager, kind of like, it was so deeply humbling and really enlightening.
Yeah.
To ask for help. Like I had a Caring Bridge website. I ended up creating.
I'm familiar with that.
Yes, Caring Bridge, which I recommend to everybody that is in a situation where you need support and help to coordinate care. Because it's like I would get texts from, I have a big network of people in my community. And so I would get, when I was sick, people would be texting me every day. Hey, Angela, how are you feeling? Hey, do you need anything? Hey, what can I do for you?
Beautiful.
Which is great and also completely overwhelming. Because I'm like, I don't know what I need. I don't know. When I was sick, I was like, I don't really know what I need. I'm just like, somebody tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And so Caring Bridge, I really appreciated because I could just create a website for free and add people's email addresses, like just my core people who I wanted to keep in touch with. And then I could just post an update of like, hey, got another CT scan. The tumor's the same size. Here's the next step. So I don't have to try to communicate with
to everybody
30 different people texting me every day. So that was super helpful. But I had one surgery and then I had a hernia and had to have another surgery a year later because of the first surgery caused a hernia.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just a whole saga, thankfully, that is, knock on wood, completely behind me now. But both of those experiences showed me the importance of community and the importance of learning to ask for help.
Yes.
The second time after the second surgery, I learned so much from that first experience that I was like, created a meal train and through the Caring Bridge website. And I had but I'm going to cry saying this. I had a different friend every day for 14 days straight after my second surgery come to my house and bring me food.
Beautiful.
I'm still blown away.
It's humbling, and even when I look at my sister's situation, my sister's not my biological sister, right? But I admire her so much. And when I look at her story, because her story is different than my story, right? But when I look at her story and I say, she had someone who's not even her blood relative that said, I will bring her home.
Oof.
Right? So that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
You're
and
sacrificing
the same thing
your
with
whole
you.
life for years.
Yes. But you too, you had someone every single day. And when you talk about community, and this is what I really hope that we as a community get to, we have to understand that illness and injuries happen. And we've got to stop trying to keep those illnesses and those injuries as secrets.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything wrong to get a tumor.
Right.
You just got a tumor, right? So why would you not tell all your friends?
Yeah.
Okay? Because they do want to help. And I really want us as a community to learn to share. Let people know. Call them hey,
let people see you.
Yeah. Right. So that they can support you because they do want to support you. And even in my situation, Angela, when I look back, I didn't know I needed a support system because I'm that same woman as you. I can do it. I got it. Don't worry. I'm on it.
Yep.
Yes,
we're very capable. We're very capable in the world, but that doesn't mean we don't need help.
And I needed help. Yeah. And when I look back, Angela, just the amount of love that was poured out to me, like just flowers sent to us, text messages, phone calls. I had one friend that just came and just sat with me.
Yeah. That's often what we need the most. Just somebody to be here and to witness us and to see what we're doing. Yeah.
And then I had another sister that said, Virginia, I can't be there with you, but I will prepare a meal every week for y'all. She sent us a meal every week.
Wow.
Right? And that's a long time. So no matter what was going on in her life, she made sure at least one day I didn't have to cook. Oof. And then she's so fancy. She would send these big trays, right? That would last a couple days.
Amazing.
Yes. It was beautiful.
It's such a gift.
I just want us as community to learn to lean into one another and stop. Because I have a friend that just recently had a little bout with cancer. And I didn't find out about it until it was over.
I've had that. I've had a friend do that too.
But I felt robbed.
Yeah.
And I said to her, I understand you wanting your privacy. But if this happens again, I would really like to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you going through this by yourself. Or not that she was even by herself, because she has, people around her, but I don't want you going through it without me.
Yes.
I know what I can bring to the table. Like, I want to bring Virginia and I want to show up for you. So I don't want you going through this by yourself no more.
Good for you saying that and speaking to that.
Yeah. And we have to, we act like it's a abnormality. But it's reality.
Yeah.
We're going to get sick.
Yep.
We're going to have injuries. There are going to be problems. And I don't even care if the problem did come out of something negative, because, sometimes people suffer anoxic brain injuries after an overdose from drugs or whatever. I don't care if that is the reason. Yeah. The point is, someone is in need.
Right.
And let your network know you're in need so they can come help you.
Yes, ma'am.
Let us be there for each other.
And I know it can feel vulnerable. It's like
it is
during that initial health crisis where nobody knew what was happening and my body was just wasting away.
Yeah.
One of my friends was like, if I was sick, I don't think I would tell anybody, because I eventually worked up the courage to post on Facebook to 2,000 friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, hey, this is what's going on with my health. I feel like it's so vital for people to know, because it's relatable. Because then I had people coming out the woodwork. It was, again, overwhelming, but supported people coming out of the woodwork of like, oh, I have this, I can come over and give you a massage, and I'll give you a craniosacral session, or I'll bring you this tincture. It's like people I think humans inherently want to help each other, right? It's like if we're on the street and somebody drops something, our instinct is to pick it up, right? It's like, I do, even with all the nonsense in the world, Virginia, I still deeply believe that humans are inherently good.
We are.
Good and kind, and we want to help each other.
We do.
And we have life experiences sometimes that lead us astray from that. But I really believe that we want to care for one another. And so, especially thinking of caregivers that are watching this and listening to this right now, it's like, know that you are valuable as a caregiver too, and that you deserve support, just like you're providing that support. Yeah. And actually, I'll quote Nehemiah from Gainesville Podcast Studio, where hosting right now, he's behind the camera. He once said, Angela, pour from your overflow, not from your tilt. So it's like, if you have a full cup, it's like, wait till it's overflowing to pour out into other people. Don't wait. Don't try to tilt your cup and pour out from what is not even full. So pour from your overflow, not from your tilt.
But you keep, I'll add to that, you keep an overflow by allowing others to pour into you.
Yes.
That's 100%. The part that we're missing.
Yeah.
The overflow comes from those that are pouring into us. So if we're always pouring into us, we're always able to pour into someone else.
And then the overflow continues.
And it continues.
I'm picturing like a bunch of cups.
Everybody's overflowing.
Exactly. Yeah. But we have to let people see us. And we have to tell people the truth about what's actually happening. I think so many of us, especially, again, strong, independent, capable women, as you and I are, it's like we want people to perceive us as having it all together. Yeah. Whatever that even means, right? And it's like, nobody has it all together. No. Beyonce, Oprah, whatever. Like, they don't have it all together all the time either. They have it, but they're well resourced.
Greetings, Eleanor Robin here, and this is Paper Part 3, the final episode. So, just a few things more I want to add about paper. And if you have any asset, you want to keep the paperwork involved with that asset for as long as you have that asset. So you want to make sure you keep your mortgage, you keep your deed, you keep even your closing statement for the house that you currently own. Once you don't own it anymore, you can let it go. But even things like repairs, if you made a major repair to your house, you want to save that, because we don't know what's going to happen with taxes. And you might need to show what you've put into that house when it's time to sell it. We don't know. So if you have an asset, if you have a car, save the records for that car. Maybe you don't have to save every single oil change, but I know some people who do. But you want to save the paperwork involved with any asset you own. Next thing I want to just cover is, if you have paid off a mortgage, if you have paid off your student loan, You want to keep that letter that shows this is paid off, so that if there's ever a question later and somebody comes back to you and says, you owe us money, you want to be able to show them, no, I don't. With that, I think next episode we're going to move on to something else because we've just about covered paper. Remember, go out and get yourself a shredder and start shredding. See you later.
So that's actually the term that I've been thinking about a lot lately, is how do I become well-resourced enough to handle life's challenges, right? Because it's like when, and I see this because of the work that my team and I do in clients' homes, it's like clients are overwhelmed because of often life circumstances, right? Yeah. It's like they're caring for an aging parent, or they just had a baby, or they had to sell their business. I mean, just big life transitions that are inevitable. Right. All of us go through crazy stuff that like curveballs that we are not expecting. Exactly. So to me, it's like, okay, instead of being like, wow, this is overwhelming, I don't know what to do. It's like, okay, how do we get you well-resourced in community and support in, whatever resources exist for us. So I think when we're well-resourced, we can be very resilient. Yeah. Life is just easier. When we have, like me after my second surgery, having 2 weeks worth of like knowing every day somebody was going to show up at my door, a loving friend or even acquaintance. Like there were a couple of people that signed up that I'm like, I don't really know this. I met this person once. Like I hosted an event and they came to it and they're like, Angela, I would like to bring you food and hug you if you're available for that. Or I can just leave it at your door if you're too tired. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want this. I think that was actually another one of my takeaways from my experience of illness. I want that for everybody. I want everybody to have that kind of support. And it takes, I think, effort when we are well. Yes. We have to put in the effort to build that community, right? To care for others and to form those relationships and connections. There's a loneliness epidemic right now. There is. And it breaks my heart because I'm like, why are we each trying to do stuff on our own?
Why are we doing it by ourselves?
Why are we trying to do it by ourselves, right? That's what creates the feeling of the actual isolation and the feeling of isolation. So that's partly why I love what you do, too. Yeah, it's like I know that you bring people together so they can see, oh, I am not the only one as a caregiver. Somebody else is struggling in the same way. Somebody else is suddenly taking care of their sister after this catastrophic sudden illness, right? It's like, oh, you're going through that too? I'm not alone?
Not by yourself.
We need to have that feeling of not alone.
We do. We really need to have that feeling of not being alone. And I think it's important, like you say, when you're well, that you're building that and you're fostering that and you're really letting people know, hey, I'm a part of your village. Yeah. I'm a part of your tribe. When you're in need, I want to be the first one to be called. And I remember I had a good friend of mine who husband was ill and she was at the hospital every night with him, right? Wow. And I didn't find out until maybe the end of the stay. And I was very adamant, don't you ever let this happen again and I not know that it's going on. And it was so cute because he got sick again. And she texted me, she said, okay, I'm letting you know on day one. Yes. He's back in the hospital, right? But we formed a circle around her. Yeah. She didn't have to ask for anything. Amazing. And that's what we want to do. Yeah. That's what we want to do. So you're right. When you're well, is when you got to be fostering that and building those resources. Yeah. And, most of us probably are doing that, but there's enough of us that's not doing it, that it does require an organization like Assurance. It does require what you're doing in your company to help people to understand you got to build these resources. You got to put these things in place. And it's just the right thing to do for yourself. You got to take care of you. Yes. You've got to take care of you.
Yes. And I want to just speak to what you said a moment ago about the fact that you told your friend, hey, I am here for you. Because I think oftentimes, again, it's like we don't want to be a burden. We don't want to be a burden. Yeah. And we're not a burden if we just ask. And actually, one of my favorite sayings, I actually just saw this randomly on Instagram because I follow a lot of accounts about intentional communities and friendships and loneliness epidemic related stuff. And it said something like, in community, ideally, we ask a lot and we say no a lot. We ask a lot and we say no a lot. And to me, so I don't know, you probably don't know this about me. I lead cuddle events through a company called Cuddle Sanctuary. And so it's education about consent and boundaries and practicing saying yes and practicing saying no. Okay. And having that felt experience in our bodies. And so as a result of me leading these events for the last several years off and on, I've realized that it's better to just ask and have friends that have good boundaries, right? So it's like, let's say during my health challenges, it's like, okay, I know the friends who are safe to ask, because another saying from Cuddle Sanctuary is, if you never say no, how can I trust your yes? If you never say no, how can I trust your yes? Yeah. So the friends that I asked for support, that I felt comfortable and safe asking for support, are the friends that have good boundaries.
Okay.
So I'm like, hey, I know your life is busy. Like one of my best friends has 2 little kids. I know your life is busy. Is there any way you could bring me food today? Or is there any way you can come over and take care of my cat? Like when I was sick, it's like I had to practice asking for help a lot. So to me, and again, going back to that Instagram thing, I don't remember even where I saw it, but it was like, we ask a lot and we say no a lot, because that's what creates the safety in that relationship of like, hey, I want to be here for you. If I'm not available or if I'm over capacity, I will say no, but I'm here. So kudos to you though, for just telling your friend, hey, I'm a safe person to ask for help.
Not only that, you better ask me. I better be the first text. Do not do this by yourself, because you don't have to. Because what I see in my circle of friends, and I have a strong circle of friends that I just love very dearly, and I know they love me dearly.
Me too.
We're good at helping each other. We're not good at asking for help. And that's the part that we need to work on. Now, if I know something's wrong with her, I'm right there. Hey, what do you need? Well, as a matter of fact, I know what you need. Here it is.
Yes.
Right? But when something goes wrong in my life, right, then I'm like more quiet. So the same thing that I'm telling other people they need to learn to do, I'm continuing to practice, and I'm continuing to learn also. Because with my sister, I did not ask for help. I just was blessed with a support system that knew. Right. And they just showed up for me. But I got to learn to ask. And family caregivers have got to learn how to ask. And like you say, also be okay with no. Everyone can't tell you yes. But that's not a reflection of you. That's more a reflection of the life that they're living. They don't have the capacity to do it. And that's okay. Or it may mean just ask later. Ask again in 6 months. Okay, I know I asked you this before and you couldn't do it, but can you do it now? And just be okay with the fact that they can't do it. It's not a reflection of their love for you or anything. Another thing I think that we need as caregivers is to begin to understand that when there's a need for a caregiver in someone's life, I don't care how many siblings they have, I don't care how many children they have, I don't care parents, everybody has a different role. So everybody's not going to do the same thing. Everybody's not going to show up the same way. And we can't be upset with those people who don't show up. But what we can do when we build that resiliency in ourselves and that understanding in ourselves is begin to ask them. Right? My mom right now, we're a caregiver. There's 5 siblings. My mom, she's going to live with me. She's in rehab right now, which already lives with me. So she's going to live with me. My brothers do the financial thing. I do the health thing. My sister is just retired, so she wants to travel, right? But she left a check. Right? So listen, Virginia, I'm not here. I know you're here.
But here's how I can support.
Anything that mama needs, use this money to get it. Right? So we got to respect that everybody has their own role in the situation. Everybody's not going to do the same thing. Everybody has a different role. So
that's why you need many people. When there's a crisis, a health crisis with a friend, a family member, an aging parent, that's why you need to make sure you have community.
You got to have community.
And then figure out, okay, how can we rally together around this person?
And all those people don't have to be biological.
It
does not have to be a biological connection. It just has to be a connection.
And that was my lesson for my healing journey too. But I'm like, all my friends, like I don't have any family close by. My mom and stepdad are down in Bradenton, Florida, 3 hours away. And the rest of my family is scattered. And I was raised as an only child. So I'm like, what? And as a single person too, and I don't have any kids too. So thinking about my future as a middle-aged woman, I'm like, okay, I have to build. I've already been building community just inherently because that's my nature. And I focus a lot of my energy on that. And it's like, as I age, that's going to be more important. You know, as we each have some health challenges, as we each care for our aging parents together. It's like going through these seasons of life is so much easier just knowing that we have support. So, and like you said, asking for the support, finding resources, knowing our roles. I love these are all, I think, really helpful tips for our viewers.
It makes family caregiving easier. I mean, being a caregiver, I will be the first one to admit it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of unexpected work. You never, ever know what you're signing up for. All I wanted to do was take care of my sister, but I had to handle her retirement. I had to deal with attorneys. I had to advocate with doctors, fight with insurance companies, manage home health care nurses and CNAs that's coming in the house. I literally had to train them. Like, I'm training a nurse.
Yeah.
Like, it was backwards to me, but I knew her the best.
Yeah.
But I didn't know when I said I was bringing her home that the
it would entail
all of that. Yeah. So it's unexpected. You don't know what you're getting into when you agree to do it. And the other thing that I just really want to share with people, even if you become a caregiver and you feel like you're forced into it, it's important to find a way to accept that still as a choice. Even though you may feel like you didn't have a choice, ultimately you did make a choice. And I think that when we are able to change our perspective, it allows us to ease into the journey a little easier too. Because the last thing we want is for someone to agree to take care of someone and then be miserable.
Yes, and I've seen that. I've seen that in houses too, where somebody's really bitter and resentful. That's not. They're like, I didn't sign up for this, and and the person that's receiving the care can feel that energy, even if they're really present and doing the technical things. It's like they can feel that there's resentment and anger and frustration there.
Yeah, so and you don't want that. You don't want that for them, but you also don't want that for yourself. Right. It is just so critically important that as caregivers, we understand how significant what we're doing is and how important it is that we enjoy it.
Yeah.
When I look back and, not only me, but my grandchildren were in the home with us. They helped me take care of my sister. Yeah. Like my grandson would know if something was wrong immediately. Grandma, Auntie Eva needs you.
Wow.
And so they became a part of that. And even now as a family, we can sit down and we have memories of her that will just make us laugh, right? And so then how do you create a memory with someone that is not even verbal?
Right.
But you can.
I would like to, I want to hear more about this because I'm curious about this. Because it's like when there's a health crisis or some situation like that, and then suddenly you're a caregiver, I think, at least from what I've seen in clients' homes and in friends and families' homes sometimes too, it's like it's such a stressful experience that it's just like, okay, what are the technical things I need to get done? Like like the list you just gave of like doctor's appointments and insurance companies and retirement and in-home care management. It's like there's so many logistical things to care for. What are your tips for caregivers to find joy in the midst of all of that stress?
Taking care of yourself. When you take care of yourself and you find a place of peace for yourself, everything else just falls into place, right? Now, the difference with me and some other people is that I knew mine was an assignment. I knew that God told me to bring her home. So I knew right from the bat how important it was what I was doing, right? Yeah. But I also have a friend who always says that whatever you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing. So if you're taking care of someone, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Right.
Like the acceptance piece is so vital to have that peace in your heart of like, this is what I'm doing, even if it's not what I want to do. Even if I didn't actively choose that, this is what I'm supposed to be assignment. Doing.
Right. Your assignment.
Soul curriculums.
Yeah. So to lean into it. But Angela, even with all that said, okay, and I did, like we were sitting at a meeting and the social worker said, well, she's awake now. What are you all going to do? And I said, well, what are our options? Yeah. And she said, well, you can take her home, or before she got the rest of I said, that's what we'll be doing, right? Yeah. Very boldly. Yeah. Knew that I was bringing her home, right? But Angela, there were some days that was so damn hard. I mean, just hard, exhausting, hard. And then not to even mention the stress that other family member bring on top of just the work itself, right? It was hard. Yeah. And you lose your life. Right. Your life is forever changed. Right. You lose your life. And what I used to have to do, Angela, I would just pray. And literally, I would ask God, please do not allow me to abort this assignment. God, whatever you do, don't let me give up.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to give up. But girl, when I tell you, there were some days, there were some hard days where even though I signed up, even though I said I'm bringing her home, there was days I said that I didn't sign up for this.
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I didn't sign up for all of that. I thought I was just caring for someone. I didn't sign up for this
all
amount.
of this.
Yeah.
Right? So I would pray. And so when you ask me what's my advice to other people, take care of yourself. Because when you take care of yourself and when you're honest with yourself about what's going on internally, you know, I ain't trying to sugarcoat it. I'm tired today.
Yeah.
You know, and my sister, when you're bed bound, you have to be rotated, right? And that rotation helps to keep pressure off your body so that you don't get bed sores and stuff like that. So all through the night, you have to get up, right? You have to turn them every 2 hours, right? And one time she did get a bed sore. So doing that, we was turning her every hour. This all night long, Angela, not just during the day. You don't get to turn it off at 10 o'clock, right? But I remember times I was so tired. I said, Eva, sis, baby, I got to go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. You're on your own tonight. Because I got to sleep.
Yes.
And I went to bed and I slept and I had to sleep all night.
Yeah.
And had I not slept all night and had I continued to do that cycle without taking care of myself, I don't know what would have happened.
Yeah.
But I knew I was at a point where, baby girl, as much as I love you, I've got to get some sleep tonight. And you know what? Even though she couldn't verbalize it, I knew she understood.
She received it. Yeah.
She understood.
Sure.
I know in her spirit, she said, all right, sis, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll be all right till you come back.
Yeah.
I know that, right? Because it was a relationship. And that's the thing we also have to realize is that she wasn't my patient. When I first brought her home, I thought of her as my patient. So everything centered around her. She was the patient of the family. Everything you do is gotta make sure it is in the best interest of Eva. Everything has got to be wrapped around Eva. Every decision you make, you got to take Eva into consideration first. When I stopped doing that, I was like, no, she's my roommate. She lives here, but I live here too.
Yes. Yes.
And we've all got to get through this together. So sometimes Eva wasn't at the top of the list. Sometimes Virginia was at the top of the list. What does Virginia need right now?
Yeah.
Right? I understand Eva's supposed to get her medication at 8 o'clock, but I'm tired right now. So she's either going to get it at 7 or she's going to get it when I wake back up.
Yeah.
And we're going to all survive.
Balance.
Balance.
I love that reframe. I imagine that's really helpful for a lot of people to hear of like, okay, this person is not your patient.
It's not your patient. That's your
right?
family
That's
member.
not
That's
your
your
relationship.
friend.
That's still the person that
that's
you love.
still the person.
But but now you have a new role in their life.
Yeah. And they're no more significant than you are.
Yeah.
You're just as important as the person that you're taking care of. And if you want to be honest with it, you're more important. You're more important because you're there. You think you're there by yourself with them now? Imagine if you're gone. Who do you think is stepping up? If there was such a long line of people to step up, you wouldn't be there by yourself to start with.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's responsibility, taking and accepting that responsibility in your life and the responsibility to care for yourself as part of that, as part of the whole experience.
Yeah.
That's huge.
You have to take care of yourself. You're the most important part of the puzzle. I don't care what anyone says. You are the most important part and you need to live like that. You need to live as if you are the most important part of the puzzle because you are. Because even if someone else does come to step up, think about the transition time. There's still going to be some dead time. But irregardless to that, whether someone's waiting to come or no one ever shows up, you have got to take care of yourself. That's the bottom line. You've got to take care of yourself.
Yeah. Of checking in, of asking for help, of checking in with your body, being like, what do I actually need? What do I require?
What do I need?
I require a full night of sleep. right? Or I require a massage, or I require to just walk away and tell the person that I'm not available for a while.
Yeah.
It's whatever you need. So what are other resources? I looked a little bit on your website, of course, but I'm curious of what are other resources for people that are watching this or listening to this that are like, I'm suddenly a caregiver, or I'm planning to be a caregiver. I have an aging parent who I'm thinking about having them in my home or turning the guest bedroom into their room, or whatever the situation is for people that are caregivers or potential future caregivers, which I read on the statistics on your website. A whole lot of us
63 million.
63 million people are caregivers.
And so that number just went up. So I guess when the census are done, so it was 53 million. And then it has gone up to 63 million.
Wow.
So that is 10 million in such a short period of time.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
And with the aging baby boomers too. I remember reading the statistics. I think also on your website that I've heard before too, of like the 65 plus, that generation will way outnumber the younger generation. So it's like the younger generation, there are just not enough people to care for the aging generation right now.
Yeah.
So for people listening and watching that are caregivers or who are like, kind of like me, even thinking of my aging parents of like, I am not prepared for this, and I've been interviewing people with aging people, but I'm like, I have some responsibility as an only child too. I have extra responsibility that I'm like, what can I do now?
Yeah. How do you manage all of that?
Hopefully years ahead to plan and manage that. So what advice would you give to someone, and what are the resources that they can access?
Yeah. So it's 2 phone calls that you need to make when you realize you're becoming a family caregiver. The first phone call is to me, to Assurance. And the reason why you need to reach out to us is because your emotional support is far more important than anything else. When you are emotionally balanced, you can tackle this journey and walk through this journey in a whole different grace, with a whole different walk, with a whole different stride. So you've got to have that emotional piece in place. And it's important that you get that first. So the first phone call is Assurance.
And that's the opposite, I think, of what everybody naturally wants to do. Everybody wants to do like the logistics and the care and what are the things, the physical things I need and the home health care, whatever. It's like people, I think, naturally want to do that. So I love that you said that it's like, no, call you and get the emotional support of like the acknowledgement and being seen and heard of like, okay, this is a big transition in your life about to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Because things are going to come that you're not ready for. But if you prepare yourself emotionally, you'll be better able to deal with those things. The other phone call is to Elder Options. Even if it's not an aging parent, Elder Options has a lot of resources that they can put you in contact with. Elder Options is almost a one-stop shop. They know so much about the community, and they know so much about the space of illnesses, injuries, insurances, attorneys. They can just point you in the right direction to help you get started. So the 2 phone call, first Assurance. I don't care what anyone says, you've got to take care of yourself first. And if you are thinking about bringing someone home, or not even bringing them home, because caregiving is not always a full-time job.
Right.
But caregiving sometimes is part-time. Sometimes you're just going over preparing meals for someone, or you may just be picking them up for a doctor's appointment. But that's still caregiving. Right.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who do that, who just
they don't
like
consider
take their parent or their neighbor or whomever is the person in their life that needs extra support. It's like, oh, I got to take so-and-so to the library today, or I need to go pick up somebody's medication. Or like, that's still caregiving.
That's still caregiving. Yeah. That's still caregiving because you're helping them maintain their life.
Yeah.
Whether it's at home or whether it's in a facility or whether it's with you, you're helping them maintain their life. So definitely Assurance and Elder Options. I think Elder Options is a good starting place, and they can at least point you in the direction if they're not the right agency for you, but they can get you started.
Yeah. And Elder Options is all of Florida, right? For the entire state of Florida. And then they have local spaces,
satellites,
which I know about some of like the local resources. Just think about it. Anybody watching this anywhere, it's like there are things like that, like Elder Options in every state.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. It is. Right. It's not just Florida. Elder Options might be just a Florida-based entity, but just look for that resource in your state, wherever you may be watching from, and get connected. Get connected. Sometimes though, also AARP is a good resource. They're doing a lot for caregivers. And then also some of the insurance companies now are beginning to look at caregivers and offering resources.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's expanding. I mean, people are just there's a need, but there's also a financial need. So, of course, that's the only reason why the world is concerned, is because they're beginning to understand the economic impact of family caregivers and how much of a burden we take off of the health system.
I'm sure. I read that on your website of like how many millions of dollars
we save every year.
Caregivers save from the healthcare system and from that type of care when you have somebody at home or you're providing that extra support and not going through the healthcare
system all the time.
System. Instead. So so it makes logical, practical sense for our society in addition to
take note. Yes.
Actual caregiving sense. Oh my goodness, this is a lot. Okay, so I'm just receiving all of this, Virginia. Thank you. It's like I can feel in my body that I'm like, oh wow, like this is a lot for me to think about, and I know it's a lot for people listening and watching too.
Yeah.
You know, just even thinking about the future. If somebody's not already a caregiver, it's like, okay, what is my role in my friends' lives too? It's like I have friends of different ages. I have friends that are a lot older than me. And I want to be there for them in whatever capacity I can.
That you can be, right.
And like you said, I love that I want to just come back to that one piece that stood out to me of like, just know your role.
Know your role.
Right? Like, what is your role and what can I actually give without becoming resentful?
Yeah.
You know, and again, that's where the boundaries come in. It's like, okay, if I don't have time, do I have money? If I don't have money, do I have other resources I can point the person to or other ways that I can support? Because we all have different gifts. You know, like I know my gifts, they are not cooking. If somebody needs care, I am not the one that's going to cook. I am not. That's not my gift in the world. I will send some DoorDash to your house. I will find another way to support you with I'll come over and give a massage. You know, I'll figure out some other thing that is
to support.
That are the ways I can share, but that is not my gift. And so I have other friends that I can also call. And that's actually one super quick story. When I was having my health challenges, I can't remember actually which part of the saga this was in, but I had two different friends who were really, really good friends with each other.
Okay.
And so my one friend knew I needed support. She wasn't available. So without me even knowing it, she called the other friend and was like, hey, can you go bring Angela a meal or do whatever? I can't remember what it was I needed at the time. I just remember I messaged that initial friend, one of my best friends.
And she got to the other one.
And I was like, you sent so-and-so to my house, didn't you?
Right.
And she's like, yes, I did. Community. She just said community.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. And I didn't have to do anything.
You didn't have
I just had a need and they saw it and gathered together. It was like, I can't be there, so I'm going to send somebody else for you. Yeah. And to me, I want that for everybody.
Of us. We want that for everybody.
We should all be talking about our stuff more. That's partly why I was debating about whether or not I wanted to share about my health challenges so publicly here today. But I was like, no, that feels important because you can't see it. Right? Like I go out salsa and bachata dancing 2-3 days a week. Like I work out. People are like, oh, you look so vibrant and healthy. And I am in some ways. And I still needed support.
You needed support.
I was not able to care for myself on a basic fundamental level.
And it is important that we share those stories because it's good to hear from the recipient's point of view and just how important, because a lot of times caregivers don't feel that appreciation. Yeah. So it's good that they get that acknowledgement and that they know, okay, what I did, it was worth it. And, and the person did receive it. Yeah. And it is life-changing. It's life-changing. But like you said earlier, inherently we are good people. Mm-hmm. So every time we get the opportunity to show that good part and experience that good part, I think it's good for all of us.
I think so too. Yeah. And we have to give people the opportunity to support us, right? Not even just I guess it is really the asking for help, because I was debating about, do I want to create a meal train? Right? Had I not created a meal train, I would have been there hungry with
and then I couldn't open the windows myself. Recovery.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a self-defeating situation if you're not willing to ask for help, because you would have been sitting there hungry, or you would have been eating things that were not good for you, and you wouldn't have been eating consistently. So now you're taking medication that really needed to be on a full stomach, not an empty stomach.
Right,
so
spiral.
It's a spiral. So that's why it's so important. I know it can be scary, and I know we don't like to hear no. But no is okay. Yeah. If you can't do it, all you can do is ask, right? And they might be like your friend. And I was the same as your friend. I knew what my friend needed when her husband was in the hospital, but I couldn't do all of it. Right. So I called another friend like, hey, can you pick up the kids today?
Yes.
You know, oh yeah, no problem. I got them. They're near my house anyway. And you just work it out, you know, and we just got to come together. And I just really hope that Assurance long-term is able to build that community for other caregivers, because a lot of caregivers don't know. Like you said, you're an only child and you don't have children. So when your parents need you, you're going to be looking for non-relatives to help out.
Absolutely.
You know, and they will be there for you. I know they'll be there for you because you're building community now, and we have to build that community so we're there for each other in those times of need.
And I love that Assurance is a resource for bringing people together. And that's oftentimes what I see in our clients' homes is we have a lot of clients who I perceive that they are just lonely.
Alone, yeah.
They're just lonely. Like oftentimes they're recently retired or their husband has passed away. Even if they're working still, it's like they're just in this usually a big house by themselves. And they don't have that network of community. And the kids are always grown. And they might have grandkids. Usually the families are all spread out. Though. Like it's like we grow up and we move away.
We move away.
A generation or two ago, we didn't do that. But now it's like people move away. And it's rare that there's an aging person, particularly they're a disabled person of any age, that has support of family right near them geographically. So that's why we have to build community and have to come together. And I would love to this has always been an idea of mine for years now that I've had this business. I've had this for 12 years now, started out part-time and I've had it. It's my main business for 12 years now, which has been a very long journey. But I've seen it so many times where I'm like, how do I get all of our clients together? Because they often have a bunch of them have ADHD, a bunch of them have like aging parents or have been through divorce or life transition. That I'm like, how do I get all of these people in a room together? So they can be friends with each other, right? And they have, and just to be seen and heard for where we are. Again, it's the feeling of not aloneness, right? The feeling of like, oh, me too. Or yes, I went through that too. Or yes, I'm in the same life situation. Because we can, especially since COVID too, it's like we're even more isolated than we were before that. And we were Americans, I think we're already pretty isolated, like many people. So figuring out how do we get people together. And I think that's a lot of what Assurance does. I saw it at the Caregivers Festival of getting everybody in the room. And that was such a beautiful experience just to see. And it was new resources to me that I can now refer clients to. And just getting people to show up and be like, yes, I'm a caregiver. Yes, it's hard. Yes, I'm exhausted. And what are the resources? How do I find support and community? How do I find community within that experience?
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a good place to close. So I would love for you to share, where can people find you? What is the website? What are the best Instagram, whatever you've got.
Yeah, awesome. So mainly our website, assurancegnv.org. So that's Assurance, ASSURANCEGNV.org. The telephone number is 352-208-4894. And we do also have a Facebook page, and it's just Assurance. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I think this is going to be really helpful for a lot of people.
I hope so.
Now and in the future, as we all age and as we all need support. And I think, I don't know the statistics exactly, but I think almost all of us will have a time in our lives where we need care.
You need somebody.
We all need each other. So thank you for being a pillar in our community and bringing people together as
thank you for having me.
I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
So if you would like support from my team from Simplify Home Organizing and you're in the Gainesville, Florida area or surrounding communities, even all the way to Jacksonville, north of Ocala, Lake City, and everywhere in Gainesville, if you need that support, feel free to visit simplifyhomeorganizing.com and we can hop on a call. It would be me reaching out to you when you fill out a contact form, so feel free to do that. And I will text you to schedule your free phone consultation if you need help with your clutter or with downsizing. That is what we specialize in. And stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you for watching.